Recently, I had the chance to talk to Olivia Frances. Olivia, tell me about some of your earliest memories of music as a child.
Called the Cincinnati Music Academy. The place is still around. And I took lessons with a wonderful woman. Her name was Beth Sedgwick. She's great. She actually still follows me around on Facebook and sees what I'm up to today. And I think that one of my earliest memories as a child, though, in general, was dancing around in my family room to the Allman Brothers' I'm No Angel with my dad. I remember when he would like swing me around and we totally just like danced right after he came home from work, and it was such a blast. And whenever I hear that song, I always go back to, us dancing around in the family room. So it was fun, good times.
Okay. A lot of musicians I talk to grow up around family members that are related in music or performers themselves. Now, what was your experience like? Did you have family members that were in music?
Sure. Well, it's funny because nobody in my family really plays music. I have a third cousin who teaches at Rutgers, but he teaches music. My mom, my dad, they've always been huge supporters of music. However, they don't really play themselves. My mom played guitar a little bit when she was younger. My dad played a little piano, but they thought it was really important for me to learn an instrument when I was very young. So they've supported me all the way through. And they enjoy my music, but they don't play themselves.
Okay, so was there like one single moment you remember, like hearing a song on the radio or maybe watching someone perform on television? It just kicked in. You said, hey, that's what I want to do the rest of my life.
Wow. Well, when I was younger, my mom used to put the Dixie Chicks on all the time in the car. And I think that Landslide really, really stood out for me. I know that originally it was by Fleetwood Mac, but the Dixie Chicks did a cover. And I would always tell my mom, track 3, play track 3, because I want to hear that song again, And I mean, it just had some amazing songs like Traveling Soldier and countless others. And I think I would sing in the car, when those songs would play, and maybe it was in that moment when I kind of knew that I wanted to just be like them.
Okay, and can you tell us which instruments you play? That's a question I always like to ask that fans. Sometimes fans don't realize that one of their favorite musicians play as many as they do.
Yeah, great question. So I do play piano because I played for 6 years, but then I picked up guitar when I was 12, and like I can dabble in ukulele. So I'd say those are my 3 instruments that I can play. However, guitar is definitely my main instrument. When you see me performing live, I'm always with a guitar. My little guitar is my baby. I love my guitar.
Okay, and you joined the Nashville Songwriters Association International at a pretty young age. Can you tell me a little bit about them and how they've helped you?
Sure. So it was really great. When I was 12 years old, my family, we all went out to dinner, and I saw that there was an open mic night going on. So I sang 2 of my original songs, totally a cappella, and these 3 guys come up to me, this was in Cincinnati, and they're like, hey, you should join the NSAI, Nashville Singer-Songwriters Association. I was like, oh, what's that? Like, we didn't know, we were so excited. My mom and I know, like, oh my gosh. And basically, it's an organization that helps songwriters improve their craft. So here in Cincinnati, like, once a week we'd have a lesson night on how to write a melody, and then we'd have a critique night. Everyone would bring songs and say, hey, the first verse is working really well, but then the chorus is the same melody and it should soar and go someplace else. So from a young age I really developed a way to kind of analyze my songs myself from learning and seeing other people's criticism. It's all supportive criticism and critiques, So just because you write a song and you think it's great in that first version, usually it's a first draft and you can make a song better. And that's what I always strive for. And I think the NSAI taught me to strive for better always.
Okay, and has that helped you also with like collaboration? Have you met a lot of other artists and like written songs together because of the group?
Yes, actually, because there's NSAI, which is based in Cincinnati and based in Nashville Singer-Songwriters Association, but they also have chapters all over. And so in my chapter in Cincinnati, I did write with some of my fellow songwriters, which I mean, I consider them family now, but since I've moved to Nashville, where I currently live, I've written with a lot of songwriters who, most of them do belong to the NSAI, but some of them I've just met, through open mic nights or different concert shows. And co-writing is a lot of fun because sometimes you can walk in a room and say, hey, I have a song idea and it's like this. And, your co-writer will say, hey, I love that idea, but what if we twisted it and actually this? And you're like, whoa, that'd be such a cool twist. After the bridge, it's a totally different angle and like a surprise at the end. And, having a co-writer helps me kind of branch out and explore new ideas that I wouldn't have thought of myself.
Okay, and speaking of songwriting and your ideas, where does most of it come from? Do you use a lot of real life experiences? Is it secondhand stuff you've seen? Where do you get most of your inspiration from?
Sure. Well, definitely life experiences for me. One of my favorite ways to write songs is by title. So a lot of, people ask me, do you write the melody first or the lyrics first? Well, a lot of the times for me, it starts with the title because if you have a great title, the song isn't going to go downhill from there. It's already great to start with, which is pretty great. So for example, I wrote a song with my good friend, Reagan Ray. You guys can check her out, Reagan Ray. And I came to her and I was like, I went to Gatlinburg for a little bit, and this little boy ran up to me and he was like, hello, miss. I told her that story. I thought it was the cutest thing ever. And I wrote down hello, miss in my hook book, which is basically I have a notepad on my phone, and I have all these different ideas flowing. My hook book is all my titles. And she was like, oh, that's so cool. We could write a song called Hello, Miss, and that'd be great. And that example, the song turned out really well. I play it out a lot. And so it's just fun to be able to listen in on people's conversations sometimes and get an idea from that too, and just kind of go from there.
Okay. Now, one thing people always like to know about their favorite musicians, tell me something outside of music that you enjoy doing that your fans might not know, or something that you could envision yourself doing as a career if you were not in music.
Oh, as something as a career. Oh, wow. That's a great question. Because at first I was going to say knitting. I love to knit. I knit in my spare time just because I think that it's really relaxing. And, it's really exciting when you finish a scarf and you can wear it out or you can give it to a friend or something. But as far as a career, I'm not quite sure. I don't know. Maybe I might want to be a teacher down the road. So I'm not sure. We'll see how I'm taking it one step at a time. So we'll see.
Okay. Have you done any teaching as far as music?
Music teaching. Let's see. Not really. I haven't been in a classroom and taught little kids. However, I think that'd be really fun. And there is, let's see. There are some opportunities in Nashville, I think, that exist like that, but I haven't quite explored those yet. I moved there in July, and I'm still sort of getting, affiliated with everything, but Nashville is so great. I love Music City. It's the best. Yeah.
And what are some of the biggest things you've had to get used to moving from Cincinnati to Nashville as far as the atmosphere?
Well, there's just so much talent in Nashville. When I first moved there, my mind was just blown away because everyone plays guitar, everyone sings, everyone writes. You'll be, in the grocery store looking at soup and you'll be like, oh, are you a musician? And most likely they are, It's so funny. So that definitely blew my mind. And I think there's just so many opportunities as well. Every restaurant, every coffee shop you go into almost has live music. The airport has live music, which I think is great. Because a lot of the other cities in the U.S., they're not like that. Nothing else is like Nashville.
Okay, and you've played at some famous places like the Bluebird Cafe. What are some of your favorite places that you have performed at in Nashville?
Sure. Well, I love Bobby's Idol Hour. It's right off, it's on Music Row. It's a really old time place, and apparently back in the day, music industry folks would come in to scout out for new talent, but it just has a lot of character, so I love that spot. There's a hotel called the Millennium Maxwell House Hotel, and Lee who's the guy who runs the rounds, and also Lee, the sound guy. Both of them are super awesome, and the atmosphere in there is really fun. So those two places I'd recommend people to check out. They have the Millennium Maxwell House Hotel has music Wednesdays and Thursday nights, so I like to play there.
Okay, and for fans in Nashville, do you have any live shows coming up?
Sure, I do. Tuesday, March 24th at the 404 Bar and Grill, which is in East Nashville. I'll be performing around 7 o'clock, maybe a little later. So people can definitely come and check that out. I also have a show on Thursday of that week at the Millennium Maxwell House Hotel. The easiest way to keep up with my show schedule, I'd say, is to go to my website, oliviafrancesmusic.com/shows. And you can find all of the information there and click on the places and find their addresses and stuff like that.
Okay, and where can everybody find your latest album? Are you working on an album now? What are your plans for this?
Yeah, so sure. I released an album in 2013 called Back to Happiness, which you can find on iTunes. It's on Spotify, CD Baby, Amazon. So that's out and about. And my latest project is called Single Steps, because I'm releasing one single a month for 6 months, like one single step, one step at a time, and those songs are on iTunes as well. So my first song was released in January. It's called Begin With Us. February, released a song called The Sweetest on Valentine's Day. And I'm excited because in March, on the 23rd, my song called Lonely Girl will be out and about on iTunes as well. So keep out for that. Keep a lookout. And you'll keep hearing new music from me for the next few months. So stay in touch.
Okay. And one question I always like to ask musicians, because I know how busy your schedules are with all the live performances and recording, how hard is it for you to balance a personal life for friends and family and your music career?
It's really hard. Definitely difficult. You have to be good with time management skills, because sometimes I find myself like wrapped up in emails and making sure my SoundCloud page is updated, like my Tumblr. There's so many different social media sites to manage, and then like sending out CDs to radio stations. There's just so much. It's like you're juggling 20 different balls at the same time. So I just try and remember what's important. Friends and family to me always come before like everything else, even though I can be easily consumed by everything else. So it's hard, but the thing is, music for me is what I love. It's my passion. So that old saying, you'll never work a day in your life if you're doing what you love. That's how I feel right now. So I do work at Barnes and Noble, to help myself out, but music is the main goal. I love doing music.
Okay, is there one piece of advice you would give a young artist? You're not that old yourself, but is there one piece of advice you'd give a young artist that's just getting started?
Yes. I think that my advice would be to write a lot of songs if they want to be a songwriter. Now, if they want to be an artist, I'd say perform a lot and book as many gigs as you can, because the more you perform, the more feedback you get from the audience. Somebody will tell you, I love this song, and that same person at the next show will say, I love this song. And you're okay. A lot of people like this song, I should make sure I perform it every time. And you get to work on your set list and your image and your guitar skills if the artist, let's say, plays guitar. So that would be my advice for artists who are trying to do what I do.
Okay, and is there anything we didn't go over that you'd like to let everyone know? Any upcoming events, any piece of advice, anything you want to throw in?
I will be releasing some exciting news very soon. So if you would be kind enough to like my Facebook page, Olivia Frances Music. If you look up Olivia Frances, you'll find my page. I think you said you were going to attach links. I'm on Twitter, Frances Music, Instagram. It'd mean a lot to me if you follow me on like some or all of those sites, because what I'm doing right now, I can't do it without fans like people like you out there, so it makes a big difference for me and means a lot. So I appreciate it if you'd check me out and share my music with your friends. I love feedback, so you want to like tweet at me like, hey, your song, head to toe, really catchy, and just anything. And I love connecting with my audience. That's what's so amazing about music, right? You can connect with someone who you would have really never known. So
Okay, well, I really enjoyed talking to you,
Thank you, John. I really appreciate you having me on your show. This has been a lot of fun.
and I'm definitely looking forward to that exciting news when it comes out, and we'll keep everybody updated on our pages too as it happens. I get asked all the time, why do I do what I do as far as helping musicians? And being someone